Hey guys, it's Tom Abbott here, international speaker, author, and sales trainer, and I'm so excited to be your mentor for the 45-day Challenge Me. This is awesome. And right now I want to share with you 7 easy tips to staying motivated and avoiding distraction. I mean, let's face it, now more than ever, we are so busy. We're inundated with so many tasks and distractions, things that pull us away from what's truly important to us. So it's so critical now more than ever to stay laser focused and really to stay motivated and positive. So here goes 7 tips to staying motivated and to avoid distractions. Tip number 1, you need to be your own coach. What does that mean? You have to hold yourself accountable. No one is going to hold your hand. No one is going to stand over your shoulder and say, hey, did you get that job done? Did you send out those proposals? Did you follow up with that customer? No one cares, and no one's going to follow up with you. You need to be your own coach and hold yourself accountable. Next tip, tip number 2, you need to discover your why. Why are you doing this? What truly motivates you? I heard years ago that the word motivation really stands for your motive for action. So what's your motive for action? What gets you out of bed every morning? Why do you work late at night? Why do you keep sending that one extra email or making that one extra phone call when you'd rather go home and just go to sleep? What drives you? What truly motivates you? Now, a lot of us are motivated by, you guessed it, money. We all love money, and money's great. Money buys cars, money buys houses, it buys a lot of things, clothes and designer bags and shoes, vacations, travel, you name it. We all love money. But here's something that I've learned over the years, and maybe you've learned this too. Money is not an end. Money is simply a means to that end. So think about what truly motivates you. What are you really working towards? Now, it may not even be what motivates you. Maybe it's who motivates you. Or who are you doing this for? Do you have kids? Are you married? Well, I do. I've got 2 kids, beautiful wife and 2 lovely young boys. They drive me. They motivate me every single day to work harder and to do more, and quite frankly, to be more. That's who motivates me. And my wife, she continually drives me to succeeding and going above and beyond and doing more than I even thought I could do. So who motivates you in your life? Maybe it's your parents. If you still have living parents, they've looked after you their whole lives. Well, at least your whole life they look after you. I know that my parents worked so hard, sacrificed a lot to make sure that I had everything that I needed to succeed in life. Now it's your turn. It's your turn to take care of your parents, support them. And look, I know it's not easy. If you've got parents and you have kids, maybe you feel kind of squeezed. Sometimes we call it the sandwich generation, where you're supporting both your parents and your kids. But no one said life was easy. It's your turn now, and it's your responsibility. So whenever you feel like things are getting hard and it's too tough and you don't want to keep going and you just want to give up, I invite you, in fact, I challenge you to think about your kids, your husband or wife, and your parents. They're counting on you. So that's tip number 2. Now, tip number 3, this is one of my favorites, is to keep learning. Now, I'm preaching to the choir here, all right? Just the fact that you've taken part of this 45-day Challenge Me, you get the importance of being a learner. You guys are lifelong learners. And I'll tell you something. When you learn more, you earn more. Something I heard years ago is that learners are earners. You got that? Write that down, my friends. Learners are earners. And it's so true. The more you learn, the more you earn, because you become more valuable to your customers. You become more valuable to your network. You become more valuable to every single person in your business and your personal life. So I invite you, I challenge you to think about, What is one thing that you need to learn? If you could learn one new skill that can maybe take your career or your life to a whole other level, what would that skill be? Now, most of you might want to get better at sales or marketing or finance or negotiation or communication or delegation or time management. What is it for you? What would take your business or your personal life to that next level? Give it a thought, write it down, and come up with an immediate action plan, something that you can start doing right away that's going to propel you to that next level. Now, tip number 4, and this, I love this one because this really gets my juices flowing, and I know you're going to get pumped up too. The number one way that you can stay motivated is to remember that motion creates emotion. Let me repeat that. Motion creates emotion. So what do I mean by that? Well, you've probably heard, and I bet you agree, that your physiology can impact your psychology. I'll repeat that again. Your physiology, your body, can impact your psychology, your mind and your emotions. So, if you've ever gone to a meeting with a potential customer and you've kind of felt, I don't know, a bit sluggish or a lack of confidence, and you walked in and your shoulders were drooping and your head was down and you were slouching a little bit, your eyes were looking down at the ground, that's your motion. That's your body. What you want to do instead is to stand up straight, chest out, shoulders back, chin up high, and confident, physically feeling good. Change the motion, change your physiology, and that's just gonna make you feel better, man. I mean, even standing here like right now in this Superman pose, I'm feeling pretty powerful right now, really, really confident. That's the kind of state that you want to put yourself into in a big situation, whether it's a big sales deal or you're doing a presentation at work, whatever it is. You want to put yourself in the perfect state to perform because motion creates emotion. So here's another tip that I love to share with sales professionals and business owners, and I think you're going to really like this one. Before you go to your next meeting, I want you to think about what kind of music or theme song would you want to listen to? I mean, have you ever watched sports on TV and the contestants come out and there's this loud, high energy music playing? You know, it's their theme song, it's their walk-on music. Well, I challenge you to think about, well, what's your walk-on music? If you were to walk into a boxing ring or a gladiator pit or a sales meeting, what would be your theme song? What music would be playing in the background? I love Spotify. I love it. And I've got a Spotify playlist ready and queued up on my phone. And it's the motivation mix. So before I go to an important meeting, I'm always listening to this motivation mix to, you guessed it, get me motivated, pumped up, and in the right state of mind. Because remember, motion creates emotion. So that was tip number 4. Now, tip number 5, and this is a big one, is to challenge yourself with a daily goal. Now, if you want to avoid distraction, you need to be focused. So how can you become more focused? It's by focusing on a daily goal. Now, I remember one time I was delivering a keynote speech during a sales kickoff. It was a regional sales team meeting. And the global CEO comes and makes this big announcement and says, hey team, for the next fiscal year, our goal is to reach $1 billion in revenue. We can do it. And then everybody at the sales meeting, all the sales reps kind of looked at each other and they politely clapped, but then they looked at each other, I don't think we can do it. There's no way, that target's too high. Yeah, right. I don't think so, right? And that's because the goal was so massive that it seemed unattainable, unachievable, and unrealistic. Has that ever happened to you? Where you've set a goal that you were really excited about, but it seemed so big that you just didn't believe in your heart that you could actually achieve it? Well, you're not alone. That's very common. That's why I encourage you to set a daily goal, something smaller. So if your goal is big, well, break it down into bite-sized pieces. If you've got an annual sales target, break it into quarters. Then condense it even further into a monthly target, a weekly target, a daily target. And that daily target could also be around performance or activities or behaviors. What do you need to do today to get you to where you want to go tomorrow? So challenge yourself with a daily goal. That was tip number 5. Now, tip number 6, I dig this one. Hang out with superstars. Hang out with superstars. Surround yourself with positive people that will bring you up, not pull you down. There's 2 kinds of people in the world. The first type of person, well, okay, let me tell you, and I think you already know the answer. There are winners and, oh, hey, well, if you said losers, that's a bit harsh, but you know what I'm talking about. I was just teasing you. There's 2 kinds of people. Winners and whiners. Whiners complain about everything. Oh, my sales target's too high, our prices aren't competitive, the markets are slowing down, the competition's too good. Boo, hoo, hoo. Whiners. They complain about everything. I'll tell you something. Whiners could even win the lottery and complain about having to pay higher taxes. That's how much they whine. Now, please, I know you're not a whiner, but don't hang out with whiners. Hang out with winners. Because those whiners are only looking to justify their failure. They're looking to you to support them, right? To basically say, yes, you're doing as good a job as you can. It's not your fault. No, it is your fault. Whiners always look at external blame rather than internal responsibility. Here's the thing. Have you ever gotten advice from someone who really wasn't in a position to give advice? Why is it that people with no money, who are broke, with no investments, are the first people to tell you what stocks you should be buying? That's like getting marriage advice from someone who's been divorced 5 times. It doesn't make any sense. Hang out with winners, hang out with superstars, learn from the best. So that was tip number 5. Hang out with superstars. Actually, that was tip number 6. Hang out with superstars. Now here's tip number 7. This is the final tip, and this is what you really need to focus on. Because you guys have challenged yourself, you have pushed yourself to the limit, you guys are motivated. That's why you're part of this Challenge Me Marathon. You're committing to this 45-day program because you're already a superstar. You guys are winners. So here's what I want you to do. This is tip number 7. Reward yourself. Reward yourself for a job well done, my friends, because that's going to help keep you motivated. Here's the thing. I remember after a sales kickoff meeting, I had a sales rep come see me at the front of the audience, and he said, Tom, I'm feeling a little unmotivated. And I was like, I'm sorry to hear that, because this was actually a motivational talk. Why are you unmotivated? He goes, no, it's not that. He goes, okay, look, let me explain. I've got good news and bad news. Now, the good news is I hit my sales target, my annual sales target, in only 6 months. I was like, whoa, that's incredible. Way to go. I mean, what did your boss do? How did you celebrate? He doubled my target. That's common, right? Has that happened to you? Maybe it has. So I tried to reassure him. I said, look, my friend, I know it felt like you were almost being punished for hitting your target twice as fast as everybody else. I mean, you got twice as much work. That is normal. So I'm sure you were a little disappointed. But here's the reality, or at least here's another point of view. You were able to achieve something that very few people could do, so your boss knew that they could depend on you to deliver more. They knew that your potential was untapped and that you could do more. That's the highest form of flattery you could get. Now, if that doesn't help you feel any better, let me continue, all right? The reality is, your boss has a boss, your boss's boss has a boss, and your boss's boss's boss has a boss. Everybody has a boss, and everybody has goals, and they're accountable to someone to drive results. So maybe your boss really couldn't reward you because they were so focused on that next goal. That's normal. That's why, my friends, you must reward yourself. So how do you do that? After a job well done, whether you closed a big deal or even if it was a small deal, but it was so hard to close. Maybe you faced so many obstacles, hurdles, challenges, objections, and you were still able to close that deal. Reward yourself. Take yourself out for a drink or dinner or a movie or a date with your partner. Do something fun. Go on a short vacation or a staycation. Buy a can of tennis balls. Go to a movie. Do whatever you want. See a movie on Netflix. It doesn't matter. But do something special in acknowledgement of that achievement. And remember, achievements don't always have to be outcomes, which are the results. It can also be the output, which is your behaviors, your actions, and your activities. So please, my friends, after this 45-day Challenge Me marathon, be sure to reward yourself. So let's just do a quick recap of those 7 ways to stay motivated. Number 1, you need to be your own coach. Number 2, you need to challenge yourself with a daily goal. Number 3, what's your why? What are you doing this for? Tip 4, learners are earners, so keep on learning. Number 5, motion creates emotion, so get busy, get moving. Number 6, hang out with superstars. Hang out with winners, not whiners. And finally, tip number 7, reward yourself because you deserve it. And I'm confident that by applying these 7 tips, you're on your way to achieving all your goals, not just in 45 days, but for the rest of your life. Take care, my friends.